Is the following value a zero of the function? So we're given a function f of x equals x cubed minus 9x squared plus 14x plus 24. And we're asked, is 4 a 0, is 5 a 0, and is negative 2 a 0? So we've been given 3 questions. Now, before we answer this, what I want to tell you or remind you of is we have a wonderful little theorem in algebra that says if a value is a 0 or a solution, so if these values are a 0 or a solution, then the remainder will equal 0. Okay? If the remainder is 0, if I divide by this or this or this, if I divide synthetically by those quantities and the remainder is 0, they are in fact zeros or roots or solutions to this function. Okay? So we have 3 things. We want to know if each of those is solutions, so we're going to do synthetic division 3 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set these up, 4, 5, and negative 2. And you'll notice that each of these looks basically the same. Okay? The first one, we just write the coefficients. So the coefficients are 1, negative 9, 14, and 24. Okay? 1, negative 9, 14, and 24. 1, negative 9, 14, and 24. It's very redundant if you do this several times. Okay? Copy the first number every time. Copy the first number every time. Can't say that enough. Copy the first number every time. And then multiply and add, multiply and add, multiply and add. So 4 times 1 is 4. We add, we get negative 5. We multiply, we get negative 20. We add and get negative 6. We multiply and get negative 24. And we add and get 0. So zeros. 4 is a 0 because the remainder is 0. How about 5? Let's try 5. Well, 5 times 1 is 5. We copy that. We get negative 4. We multiply that. We get negative 20. We add those. We get 6. 5 times 6 makes 30. Add those together. A negative 6 and a negative 30. You add those together and what do you get? You get negative 6, not 0. So x equals 4 is a 0. X equals 5 is not a 0. How about negative 2? Well, negative 2, that gives me negative 11. And then that gives me positive 22. And that gives me 36. Right? Because it's add, multiply. Add, multiply. So negative 2 times 36 gives me negative 72. And when I add that to 24, I get negative 48, which is not 0, which means that is not a 0. So the only 0 from this group is x equals 4. Okay? So we've been given a second question. I'll leave that up there for another second, let you see what I did there. We've been given another question. X to the 4th minus 3x to the 3rd plus 2x plus 8. And we've been given 3 options. Are these zeros? And it's yes or no. Okay? So I'm going to put underneath here, yes or no. We want to know yes or no. Yes or no. Okay? Are they zeros? Are they zeros? Are they zeros? So what do we need to do? Well, we need to do synthetic division. So we say negative 5 and then the synthetic division. And we do negative 1 and the synthetic division. And we do 4 and synthetic division. And really easy to set up, really easy to do. You don't even need a lot of paper really. And we need to put our coefficients in here. So x to the 4th is 1. X to the 3rd is negative 3. X squared is 0. X is 2. And then the constant is 8. you have to be careful whenever we skip from a 3 to a 1, okay, from a 3 to a 1, there has to be, you have to list every term. So my rule is if you've got a fourth power, you should always have one more term. So fourth power, you should have 5 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, okay? It's an easy way to remember that. So we copy this first term down and then multiply and add. So we multiply and then add. We multiply. So multiply and then add. Multiply. This is going to give us a big old number. Now at some point, here's the thing that I like to tell people. At some point, you know, 2 minus 200 is going to be negative 198. And I say to myself, if I multiply this times that, it doesn't matter what the value is. If I multiply this times that, okay, is it going to give me negative 8? And the answer is no. So I stop. I don't need to finish this work. What do I know about this number? No. Negative 5 is not a 0. How about negative 1? Same coefficients. 1, negative 3, 0, 2, and 8. Copy the first one. We get negative 1, negative 4, 4, 4, negative 4, negative 2, 2, 10, right? 8 and 2 make 10. Okay? Again, what happens? It's not 0. So what's the answer? The answer is no. How about positive 4? Well, let's give it a try. So our coefficients are 1, negative 3, 0, 2, and 8. And so I copy the first one. We get 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Add those up, you get 1. That gives me 4. Add those up, you get 4. 4 times 4 gives me 16. 16 plus 2 gives me 18. And then, of course, you know, 4 times 18. Is 4 times 18 going to give me negative 8? The answer is no. And so I say no. So are these numbers zeros to that polynomial? The answer is no, no, and no. Okay? So this is a good lesson in dividing synthetically, and it also teaches one of the things you can use synthetic division for, which is to check if a value is a solution to a function or a zero or a root of a function. Okay? So if you have any questions, please let me know.